Assalamu alaikum. How communication shapes family bonds in Morocco. Looking back at my own experience growing up in a Moroccan household, I remember the silence that filled the room after my father came home from work. Not a hostile silence, but a heavy one. A silence that said there are things we don't discuss. This is where I first encountered what the German scholar Elizabeth Noel Newman called the spiral of silence, the idea that people stay quiet when they sense their opinion might isolate them from their group. In the Moroccan family context, this spiral works quietly but powerfully. A child learns early that questioning a parent's decision or expressing a disagreement at the dinner table might lead to being seen as disrespectful. Over time, that child stops speaking about what truly matters. What begins as respect for elders slowly becomes a learned habit of withholding the self. I saw this clearly in my own home. My mother would share her worries with me privately, but when my father entered the room, the conversation shifted to safe topics: the weather, the neighbors, the price of olive oil. This is not unique to my family. It is a widespread pattern that reinforces what the American psychologist Evan Janis called groupthink, the tendency of a group to prioritize harmony over honest evaluation. In Moroccan families, groupthink shows up as avoiding difficult conversations about finances, about marriage choices, about mental health, about anything that might disturb the surface peace. The problem is that this surface peace comes at a cost. The British psychologist John Bowlby taught us about attachment theory, the idea that the secure bonds are built on open, responsive communication. When a child's attempt to speak is met with silence or dismissal, the attachment weakens. The child learns that expressing the true self is unsafe. Years later, the same child becomes an adult who struggles to communicate with their own spouse or children, and the pattern repeats. But communication can also work in the opposite direction. The American communication scholar Paul Watzlawick reminds us that one cannot not communicate. Even silence is a message. In Morocco, the challenge is not to eliminate silence, but to transform it, to create spaces inside families where silence is not a wall, but a pause, where disagreement isn't a threat, but an invitation to understand. I have experienced this too. The relief that came when my uncle, after years of silence, finally told my father that he disagreed with a family decision. That moment did not break the family, it deepened it. Communication in the Moroccan family context is not just about words. It is about permission, and it is permission, about the courage to say, I say things differently, and I still belong here. I still belong here. When communication is open, it becomes the thread that ties generations together, allowing love to pass through when it is closed. That thread becomes a rope that binds but doesn't connect. The impact on society is clear. Families where communication is honest raise children who know how to speak, how to listen, and how to hold both love and truth in the same hand. Those children become adults who build stronger communities, better workplaces, and a more open Morocco.